Today's video is sponsored by Care Of. Hi flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, and this morning it's Wednesday. I'm going to be harvesting for the very first farmers market that I'm going to be doing of this season. I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing farmers markets because with owning the nursery and kind of wearing multiple hats, I didn't know where I was going to land. However, I've decided that I really miss it. I miss the energy of the market. I miss the people, and I'm going to be doing the market as often as possible, as often as the flowers allow. Now, that being said, my flowers have been slow this year. I've lost a lot. The deer are insatiable. I've even put up behind me, you can't see it yet, but I put up a huge deer fence around a lot of my flowers. They're still getting in. They're jerks. But anyway, I'm here harvesting. Now this is the mountain mint patch that I planted last year. Last spring, I planted 50 plugs from Ball Color Link. They sent me beautiful mountain mint plugs, and now the patch has grown. Let me turn the camera around. So I did 5 rows of 10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, these plants, I've already cut bucket loads off of these plants, and they are quite beautiful. They're just starting to get their little flower buds, but I've been using them throughout the season. There's obviously some weeds in here. There's some vetch and some other weeds coming up through, but these have been amazing. I'm very happy that I planted them. They did spread a little bit, but not too much, and I don't care honestly if they spread around here. I just planted them underneath this giant tree down by the flower field, and they seem to be happy in this location. As you can see, they're about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. And I'm cutting them today because mint has a tendency to wilt and then bounce back. So I'm cutting a few things today because of that reason. Mint is definitely one of those things. Basil is one of those things. Honeywort is one of those things. A couple of other things that I'm harvesting today, I guess, fall into that category of harvest early, let it recover, let it hydrate, and then it'll be good for the market. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a bunch of this mint and get it ready for Friday. I don't have my tripod down here, so you're just leaning up against the Kubota right now. I've got my Kubota down here, and my bouquets this week have been really tall because they're made up of mint, this mint, which is, like I said, it's like 4 feet. I mean, you could see me standing in it. It's belly button height on me. I'm 5.5 feet tall. So the tall phlox, I'm making bouquets, and I'm basically just stripping all the lower leaves. All I want is that beautiful bloom of mint on top. It smells so good. So I'm stripping the leaves because the less foliage that the plant has to hydrate, the less likely you are to have wilted plants. I'll strip probably again as I'm making the bouquets if I see things that are just too much foliage. Okay, I'm doing probably cutting 3 stems at a time, just going across the bottom. Gonna give it a quick strip. I have buckets in the back of the Kubota with water in them. Ooh, this is gorgeous. It doesn't take long to harvest this mint because I just harvested 5 stems at a time on that one. Whee! Oh, don't yell at me, because yeah, I probably could be using that mountain mint for something else, but I'm not. However, if you wanted to, you could strip these up in a different place and save the leaves and make something else. You can make a fojito or a mojito or whatever your heart desires with all the minced leaves that you're stripping off. Same thing with the basil. I don't save my extras, but a lot of people do. It's simply lovely. Simply lovely. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get an entire bucket full because I have no idea what the crowd is gonna be like on Friday. We do have a band playing. So we'll have music there. There's also gonna be food trucks. The farmers market is partnering with the PTA, like the Parent Teacher Association, to bring in food trucks. So it'll be a busy market, and it's my first one of the season, so I'm really excited to have a lot of beauty for my customers. All right, I have probably, I don't even know, maybe 100 stems in there. Some of it needs to be cleaned up. There's some bug damage on some. There's one with some bird poo. I might rinse it off or just get rid of this one altogether. But for the most part, they're fantastic. Now these will get wilty and then they will bounce back. I'm using kitty litter box because it is tall and that mint is tall. Plus, I left most of my buckets at the nursery, so I only have a few. Might have to go get more. And now, more about the sponsor of today's video. It's Care of. Care of makes taking your vitamins on the go this summer so convenient with individual daily packs that are perfect for travel. Your health should be personal, and Care of helps take the guesswork out of what supplements are best suited for you and your goals. You take a short, in-depth quiz about your lifestyle and health goals for a personalized, doctor-backed recommendation. After taking my personalized vitamin plan, I feel like I have so much more energy and I am ready to tackle the day every day. My favorite part is the convenience. These vitamin packs show up exactly when I need them, and the packs themselves are compostable. As your needs and goals change, you can adjust your routine to match. You can take the quiz again anytime you need to for updated recommendations. For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter the code FlowerHill50. Again, for 50% off your first order, go to takecareof.com and enter FlowerHill50. Thanks again to Care of for sponsoring this video. Here's the dahlias. I did two and a partial row of dahlias. Honestly, I planted them really late, and for being planted really late, guys, they look fantastic. I've got buds on almost all of them. They've only been in the ground for maybe a month. But yeah, you can't even really see, but I have buds. So far the dahlias are much more successful than last year. I know I'm gonna have a lot of blooms. I see the buds all over the place. Some of these I did not pinch any of these, by the way. Some of them have 7, 8 stems coming up. This one in particular, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 stems on this one in particular. It's looking great. I decided to use the Bio 360 this year for the dahlias. I've never done that before. They usually get weeded out like insanely. So far, really happy with the Bio 360. I did basically just 2 all the way down the row. I think I got maybe 150 in a row. I believe I have somewhere in the zone of 400 dahlias in the ground. Some of these were given to me by a fellow grower locally. They dropped them off and said they had too many. The tubers were too productive. Over here, I've got the gladiola successions. Over here, I've got the sunflower successions, and they keep going down all the way. And then beyond that, I have the lilies, and I got those in the ground super late. They've only been in the ground maybe a week. Past the dahlias over here, I've got snapdragons. Over here, I've got gomphrena and some forget-me-nots, and then some amaranth. Amaranth is slow to take off this year. I think I have to trim it. It's all going to seed. Over here, I have 2 rows, basically empty space. I have extras that I brought home from the nursery that I need to get in the ground there. And then I have the zinnias, and they're way behind. Don't get me wrong, these plants look amazing, but usually I have blooms by now, and I'm only seeing buds. I usually have actually quite a few by now. So the plants are looking great. However, this is the second round of zinnias because my first round of zinnias, which is why I have 2 empty rows. I had an initial round of zinnias planted, and then we had a frost, killed everything. So this is only half of the zinnias that I had planned on growing this year. Unfortunately, same thing happened with the ageratum. My ageratum got snapped in that 29-degree night we had in late May. So I lost an entire row of ageratum. Same thing with my gomphrena. I lost an entire 220 plants of gomphrena. It was really, I guess, disappointing. And then the other thing that I'm having happen is deer damage where I've never seen deer damage before, and it's very upsetting. Okay, we're getting into the weeds here, which it is what it is. I'm just gonna, look. I have to mow in between the rows and it'll be fine. However, this is Sahara rudbeckia, a couple hundred plants, and the deer decided to chew it back. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. Maybe it was a woodchuck, but I'm thinking it was a deer because I see the deer prints, like that's where the deer stepped into the 360. That's where the deer stepped into the 360. So they literally chewed back all of my plants. However, they are bouncing back, and I do have some new blooms. Look how healthy these plants look. They just look amazing. If the deer did not eat them, I would have blooms by now, and I don't. However, they did the same thing to some of my Sweet William. Look, they're just walking through. They're walking through. This is scabiosa. That's looking good. I should have blooms very soon on that. There's some buds. This one's quite tall. Getting some buds on that one. Guess what? That's what it is. It is what it is. This is what happens when you're trying to take on too much. Now this is exciting because this is the Sweet William that looks so good in the bouquets. I've got so much of it and it's starting to bud up. And this is generally tall. I mean, it's elbow deep on me. So I should have some, and this is the rose colored one. So it's a nice deep magenta color. It goes well with everything. Got some weeds growing up through. I just can't keep up with everything. Oh my gosh. Yep. So there's a weed. Taking that down. But this is the color, that magenta color. But look, something ate the middle stalk. So they just come through and they eat what they want, like jerks. Buplorum looks good. I'm going to be cutting this today. I'm going to be using this in bouquets on Friday. This is another one that tends to wilt and come back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this today. Here is a weedy row of perennial yarrow. I'm going to be cutting some of this today because also another thing that tends to wilt and come back. I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm just starting to get the taller stems on my ageratum. It's looking really good. So I'll be harvesting buckets of this really soon. I could probably cut maybe 4 or 5 that are tall enough today. And I have snapdragons. I need to harvest the orange, the pink, and the lavender, and a few of the red ones are coming in too. So I'll be harvesting a couple buckets of snapdragons, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to wait until probably Friday morning to cut the snaps. They do not wilt on me, but what they do is bend in the bucket. So if I harvest these early and they're bent a little bit in the bucket, they'll just look a little bit weird. So I don't want to do that. I want them to be nice and straight for my bouquet making, so I'm going to hold off on these. 2 rows of status. These are looking so good. I've been cutting off of them. They're really tall. I am, however, noticing that for some reason the Japanese beetles are loving them this year. Bing! I can't stand it. So I've been going around and smacking the Japanese beetles. The status just goes for days, guys. The lighting out here is horrible today. Sorry. Go away, go away. I don't have a soapy bucket of water or anything, but I did a QIS mix this year. It was the easiest thing for me to do. I would say pink and yellow are the majority of the colors, but there's a good amount of, there's some peach in here and there's quite a bit of the purple. Let me see, it's kind of a blue. Oh, this one's the really dark one. And we also have some white. So this is actually gonna be an amazing season for my status, other than the beetles. There's my Gomphrena. It's not tall enough to cut yet. It should be soon. It's so cute. Interesting. It looks like the deer ate my Thallium. I don't know what to do about these jerks. Look at all this. It's just all gone. I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Oh, hi, Shadow. This is another section. This is actually, believe it or not, calendula. Deer-proof calendula. Guess what's not deer-proof? Calendula. They ate all of my calendula. And they're snacking on my celosia. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with these things. My celosia has been chomped. And then I have the hibiscus, but it's just slow to grow this year. I don't understand why. So this hibiscus, the status, there's Lysianthus in there, but it's just green. It's not ready yet. And then I have the snaps and then the yarrow. And then beyond, so there's the zinnias, the 2 empty rows, which were supposed to be zinnias, the amaranth, and then the dahlias. There's an extra row of snapdragons over there too. It's just trying to keep up with the weeds. Honestly, mowing it works, but my mower broke. So we're waiting on Brad's fixing the mower and then we'll be good to go. These do look nice. It's just they're not putting on the height that they normally do. But you know what that means? That means that in September, when I'm looking for this color, it's gonna be ready, which is perfect. So that's my flower field down here. Honestly, it looks worse than it is. It really does. I just have to get the mower in between. Like I mowed here, that looks fine. I mowed here, it's fine. It's just I haven't mowed in between the rows yet, but I will. And it'll look better when I do. But if I waited until I do things to share with you guys, I'd never share with you guys. So that's reality. Oh, wow. I love this stuff so much. This I started last year from seed. I believe this one is the summer berries mix. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna cut some of this yarrow, get it in a bucket and let it hydrate for Friday. Okay, here is a beautiful bucket of yarrow. I've got to go keep this. You're supposed to harvest it when you can see the pollen. If you harvest it too early, it's more likely to wilt. So this might be too early on this pink one. Hopefully the others are okay. I also grabbed a couple of the boops and gonna move on from there. Go to the hoop house to get the honeywort. On the way to the hoop house, I decided to stop here and show you guys the perennial gooseneck loosestrife. It filled in, and it is probably just a day or two from harvest. Hopefully Friday morning I can cut these, but that's how I want to harvest them. And they're all about just that. See, yeah, I like them to be a third of the way open, and we're keeping it controlled by mowing around it. I harvested some of these earlier this week. They're awesome. So I didn't plant many down here, but they are filling in. And see, I could probably harvest a bunch of these. So I think I'll have, see, these ones down here are good too. Yeah, I'll be using these in the bouquets this week. They look really good. Exciting. All right, into the hoop. All right, this is the back side of the hoop house. I've got some eucalyptus in here. I'm gonna try and overwinter it. It's actually growing quite well for first year. I started these at the nursery, and then I've got straw flower in here. On the right hand side, this is all stock that I need to pull out. Stock is done with, but I do have some straw flowers in here that need to get cut, I think. Yeah, there's some. And then I've got some cutting mums in here for later in the season, but now this is my little patch of honeywort that I use, and it's fantastic in bouquets. So I'm gonna grab some of this. Here is, and I'm gonna lift up because it's beyond 2, feverfew. All that feverfew is ready to go. I am very excited about it. It makes the most beautiful dancing element in bouquets, and I probably have about 40 stems, which is perfect. Those are my earlier snapdragons. I have stopped watering them. They're no good. So that's basically all that I have left in the greenhouse is the feverfew, the straw flowers, and then I do have some of the heirloom mums in here that are growing that I would like to harvest off of later this year. But I have all of this feverfew, and I probably will have it for another couple weeks because I have some that's just starting to bud up. Skip. These ones are really short for some reason, and then I have this other variety as well, which is the double. I am fully obsessed with this. It's never grown as well as it has in the hoop house. I learned this last year when I did a later succession of it, and it's just really fantastic. I love it. It does tend to wilt though, so cut it early and then let it hydrate. I'm gonna wait to harvest this. I need to go eat something, so yay! All right, that's it for a quick harvest. You could actually see some of the mint and everything. What the? Some of the mint is already starting to wilt. Look on the back side. It just gets droopy immediately, but it'll bounce back. It just needs to rehydrate, so that'll be no problem at all. But this was just a quick filler harvest, and I have more to cut. Like I showed you guys that gooseneck. I have phlox, I have snapdragons, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be adding to these bouquets for the first week at the market. I also have a friend who's bringing me some of her extra hydrangea stems, and I think she's bringing me some of her Ami as well. She's a fellow grower. Her name is Tabitha, and she's with the Hool Flower Farm in Little Falls. She has some extra stuff this week, and she's headed up my way. So I'm gonna meet up with her tomorrow, and I'm gonna combine my stuff with hers to make some pretty epic local bouquets for the first market of the season. I, hands down, am in love with my perennial phlox. I am so excited. It's getting bigger and better every year. This is the 3rd year. I know a lot of people have a problem with powdery mildew. I am seeing that this year on the lower parts, but it's not impacting the cut for the bouquets. So I will be harvesting that, but I did harvest some the other day. Here's a picture of my favorite. It's called the Sherbet blend or the Sherbet blend, depending on how you say it. It's like the ice cream. But yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, I'll be harvesting those tomorrow, not today. There she is in all of her beauty, and this is about the stage of where I harvest the phlox because it's got some open and then the rest of these will unfurl in the bouquet. So I love a perennial phlox, and this especially. I grew these from bare root and they were planted 3 years ago. All right right, guys, it's actually Friday morning. I've harvested all the feverfew, all the phlox, all of my snapdragons, and then my friend ended up bringing me lilies, not hydrangeas, and the ami, and a couple of other things in a bucket. Here's the mint. It's all come back to life. The yarrow is looking good, the bupleurum, all of this stuff is looking great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get stuff ready, and hopefully I'll be able to record a vlog for you guys. Look at this lily that Tabitha is growing. This is gorgeous. I love it. And this is the green ami. I didn't do any of this year. I'm really upset about it, but we have some gorgeous stuff to bring to the farmer's market. So I'll try, like I said, I cut some status too. We'll try and put together a beautiful vlog for you guys about setting up at the market and making bouquets there. So thanks guys for sticking around. We'll see you soon. I'm out of breath. It's later in the day. Brad fixed the motor and I'm mowing in between the rows now and it looks that much better. Kind of just quit on me down there, but now you can see the defined rows of flowers. This is the Lisianthus. A lot of grass came up through the little holes of the lizzies. Snapdragons look great. So do the ageratum, stuff like that, but much better now with distinct rows, except for this Lisianthus. It's struggling this year. It really got hit with that late frost and it's struggling to come back.